to another weekly reading vlog. Today it is Monday and we're actually starting on Monday, and this is a special vlog. It is the start of the Reading Rush readathon that's hosted every year. There was a stay-at-home Reading Rush readathon earlier during lockdown just to kind of spice things up a bit, and I did take part in that as well. But this is my first like official one, being on BookTube, and I'm excited to take part. Yeah, so if you didn't know or you haven't seen my TBR video, the books that I have on my TBR video for the prompts are A Clap Where You Land for the 7th prompt I think, which is read a book in a different continent to what you were on. And then I have the Prime of Mystery Brodie, which is the prompt of read a book of a film that inspired a film that you've watched, and read a book with that starts with the. So that was that one. Oh, and also read a book completely outside of your house, so I will be reading this in the garden because it's nice and sunny out there. Then the other two books that I have is Middlemarch, which was to read a book outside of a genre. Oh my gosh, there's a dragonfly outside. Read a book in a genre that you want to read more of, and also the first book that you touch. If you saw my TBR video, this was not the book that I was hoping to get. So basically what I did was like all the classics I own that I haven't currently read, sprayed them out in like a circle, spun around a few times with my eyes closed, and then touched the first one that was in front of me. And this was I got. And this was I got. And this is the one that I got. And it's over 900 pages. So it's a big boy, so I'm panicking slightly, but it's going to be fine. We're already on track, so we're going to do it, hopefully. But then the final one that I've got is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, and this was to read a book with cover the same colour as your birthstone. June has an array of birthstones, but one of them shines a colour like a greeny colour in a certain lighting, so I went for this one. So yes, I started last night quite late. I was hoping to start at midnight, but I got distracted watching a film. So I started quite late and my neighbours were really loud. So I was up till like 2 in the morning reading basically. And I started A Clap Where You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I've actually finished it. I know, madness. So it's currently 2 o'clock I think in the afternoon, and I've literally just sat in the garden for like 3 hours and just read this. Like it's an easy book to read because it's all in verse. So it's like obviously not as dense as a prose book would be, so obviously a prose book would take me a lot longer, but I really enjoyed it. I was a bit hesitant going into it just because I'm not someone that's very accustomed to reading poetry or understanding it or kind of getting it, but this is a great book. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars. I've tabbed some of the little bits that I like really liked, that really stood out to me. I'm not a big tabber, I would like to be a better tabber, but I always forget when I'm reading a book, so it always tends to fail. But I've just tabbed some lines that I really liked or that stood out to me or I thought actually were quite funny. So this follows 2 girls, and one lives in New York City and the other in the Dominican Republic, and one day a plane crashes and their father is on board. However, they didn't know the other one existed, so he's had a secret family, both I suppose secret from the other one. And through obviously like funeral arrangements, it kind of comes known that there is the other sister around, and it's kind of them coming to grips with their grief of him passing and of discovering each other, and the kind of anger that comes with finding out about a secret family, and also just kind of getting over their father's death, but also finding out they have a sister at the same time. So it's about loss and gain and really complex emotions, and I think doing it in the verse form really changed how you feel when you're reading it, because I feel like if this was in a novel you'd have had a lot more kind of background information, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, this just seemed a lot more personal and a lot more kind of encompassing of the grief and all the emotions that they were feeling and the relationships they had. Like, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, which kind of softens a novel, if that makes sense sometimes, whereas this is kind of just a little bit more raw and to the point, and I actually really enjoyed that, which I didn't think I would, because I don't know why I thought I wouldn't enjoy it, but I did, and I thought it was really well done. So it's also an Own Voices author. So Elizabeth Acevedo is a Dominican American author and poet, so she's also wrote this book here, With the Fire on High, which I've wanted to pick up multiple times but never have. I don't know why, but I really want to now. And she also did Poet X, which I also didn't pick up because I was scared of the verse format, and now I really want to read it. So I might be purchasing some more of her books. I think she might be a new favourite author. Maybe. Don't want to say it until I read more, but I really enjoyed this, and I know those books have had really good reviews, and I don't know, they're mentioned a lot on social media, so I assume they're good. So yeah, 4.5 stars. We're off to a good start. Book number 1 for the Reading Rush readathon done. So the next book I think I'm going to go, just whilst I'm still on a kind of reading concentration vibe, I think I am going to continue and try and read The Prime of Mr. Brodie today. This is only 128 pages, so I feel like I could do it. If you did watch the TBR video, I'm really sorry, I'm going to repeat information again, but this is set in a school in Edinburgh in the 1930s, and it's written by Muriel Spark, who actually went to that school. So it is a real school, and actually my great-gran, and my gran actually, but my great-gran went to the same school as this. But she was actually in her year group, Muriel Spark's year group, which I didn't know, so I was talking to my mum about reading it, and she said that, so that's pretty cool. Or at least maybe not the year group exactly, but she was in the school during the time that she was also there. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to read it just to see a little bit more of that. And yeah, it's not a book I would necessarily pick up on my own. I'm interested to read it anyway. So yeah, I think I'm going to go read that in the garden. So yeah, I think I'm going to go read this and see how it goes. Good morning, it's Tuesday, and I thought I'd do a little update of what I actually got down to reading after we spoke yesterday. So I did pick up The Prime of Mr. Brodie, and I read about 38 pages of it. Then I got a bit bored and it wasn't very sunny outside anymore, so I decided to come in and stop reading it. And then I had a little break, a little bit of a chill, because I've been reading a lot that day, and then started picking up A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Rosanne Brown. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm surprised actually. It's, I think, a YA. I'm going to double check that, but I think it's YA, but it's written better than any YA that I've read recently that's like a new release. A lot of the YAs coming out recently, I've noticed, or the ones that I've read anyway, have been kind of not quite as good writing style as I would typically enjoy. That sounds really horrible, but this is written really well and I'm really enjoying it. I'm only like 40 pages in, so obviously not lots happened, so I can't really say for the plot, but it sounds really interesting so far. And it actually has a main character that's suffering from anxiety and panic attacks, which is something that you never really see in books, or I've personally never read anything with that in, especially not a fantasy. Or I think I maybe have, but it was like as a result of something that happened earlier on in the series, so it was like the third book and she started getting those kind of symptoms, but it wasn't like she had proper anxiety and panic attacks, whereas this seems like he does. So I'll be really interested to see how that's continued throughout the book and how it's kind of presented and coped with, I suppose. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't really know much about it more than that, so I can't really tell you more. It does have a lot of mythology and folklore in it so far, like straight away, so that's really cool, and I'm enjoying finding out more about that. So I am enjoying this one a lot more than I expected to. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but I was worried because it's been hyped up quite a lot, but I don't think this one has. I think it's actually genuinely good, so I'm excited. My plan is to finish this today and get a big chunk of this done today and then finish it tomorrow. So then we can start the big boy. I also need a shower because I look disgusting, so apologies for that, but I thought I'd just update you before I did that. So I'm gonna get ready, go sit in the garden, finish Mr. Brodie whilst it's still sunny, and then read this. So it is Wednesday, day 3 of the Reading Rush Readathon, and yesterday didn't go as well as day 1. I'll be honest. Did I read 400, 500 pages? No. Did I come near to that? No. Obviously it was a little bit harder to get that much because obviously I wasn't reading like poetry or verse, so I don't expect myself to read that many pages again during the Reading Rush Readathon or in my life. But I did finish today, not yesterday, but today, Muriel Spark's Miss Jean Brodie, because yesterday I got to about 80 pages in. Not gonna lie, I was getting quite bored and the sun was in, so I just kind of didn't want to sit outside anymore and read it, and I was trying to do this for the reading outside prompt, so I stopped reading it and picked up this again instead, which is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and continued reading that inside. And again, nothing on the book, just my mindset yesterday was not as focused on reading as it had been the day before, and whenever I sat down to read, my mind just kept wandering, so I was only doing like 30 or 40 pages at a time, pausing, having a little break, going back to it. But I did manage to get about 200 pages read yesterday of A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and I am enjoying it, but I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, I finished this morning and it's okay. Like, it's funny in parts, not funny in other parts, a little bit boring. I don't see much point to it personally. I know they do study it in a module. I can't remember what module they do at university. So again, I think maybe it would be one that was more interesting if you knew a little bit more about it or did a bit more research into it. I haven't, because I just don't really want to. I don't know, I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars, like a low 3 stars. And it was just a bit funny. Like, there is a foreword and an introduction that maybe would shine some more light into it, but I'm not bothered enough to read it, so I'm not going to. Sorry. But yeah, 3 stars. It's okay. I'm glad I read it because it was on my shelf, and I want to read everything on my shelf at some point, hopefully, so that I have like no TBR. I don't know when that's going to happen, probably after uni's finished, but I'm glad I read it, and it is a beautiful book. There is a film of it. I watched the film ages ago, so I can't even remember if it's good or not, but my mum said the film's better, so I'm going to take her word for that and recommend you just watch the film, which is not something I often do. 3 stars, 2.5 to 3 stars for that one. So I am currently on page 297. I've read about 50 pages today and I'm enjoying it. I think it's about to get interesting because the 2 points of view characters are starting to kind of mix up physically now, like they've actually met each other, and that's going to be a lot more interesting. I don't know how the end's going to happen. Like, at the moment it's going in such a way that it's going to be like a disaster, and I can't see how it's going to flip. So I'm excited to see if there's a big like twist at the end and if it's going to shock me, because I think it will. I hope it will. I've got expectations, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm surprised at how much I'm liking it. So far so good. This follows, I don't think I've told you what it's about, but it follows 2 characters. One is a young boy called Malik. I don't actually know how old he is. I think he comes across much younger than he actually is because of the actions that he's doing and some, like, I don't know, the development he's going through. So I don't know what his age is roughly, but he at the beginning of the book is a refugee kind of who has travelled across the country with his 2 sisters in hopes of getting into the main capital city of this country or this kingdom, and kind of make a life and make money that he can send back home to his mum and his gran for them to come and join them. However, they belong to this kind of subsection of the kingdom that no one likes. They're very prejudiced against. They don't actually let these people into their city, so he kind of has to forge documents and it all goes a bit wrong, but he does end up being in a city, and then something happens to his sister, which means he has to then go on this mission to try and get her back. And then the other point of view is Karina, who is the princess of this city or this kingdom, and she lives in this city, and stuff goes wrong in her life as well, but it ends up they both have to kind of kill each other, is what it is. I don't think that's a spoiler, hopefully not. But what does the blurb say? Oh, I wouldn't read the blurb if I was you, because there are bits in it that are quite, I don't know, I would have counted them as spoilers, because when I read it, it was a bit of a shock. So yeah, don't read the blurb if you want everything to be a surprise, but if not, it's up to you. So yeah, that's basically the gist of the story, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very magical, kind of magical. There's bits of magic that I don't fully understand. I don't think the characters themselves fully understand. They're still learning about it, and the world is very vibrant and lively, and there's all these like mythical creatures that are involved in it, which I'm really loving reading about and kind of discovering the world. The only criticism I have is that I wish it had a map of the city at the start, because it's got a map of the kingdom, which is great, but so far it's all been focused in Ziran, which is the main city at the centre here, and they've like explored it and walked around quite a lot, so I don't know, I like to centre and just be able to visualise it all. So I just wish there was a map of the city. That's all. That's the only criticism I have, which is pretty good, I would say. And yeah, I do like maps as well. Like, I've got a funny thing about maps. If a book has a map in it, I'm sold. So yeah, that's all I have. So I'm going to try and finish that today. I've got about 200 pages, well, less than that now. About 160 pages left. Fingers crossed I can do it. I don't know. I'm filming another video today, which is something to do with my bookshelves. So hopefully I can get that done and that done all today. We shall see. But yeah, I'll get back to you when I finished it. So it is Thursday, day 4 of the Reading Rush Readathon, and I finished this book. I finished it yesterday or last night, like just after midnight, so don't know. It was before I went to sleep, so technically it was, I don't know. Yesterday or today, whatever you want to say. But I finished it. I literally had 8 pages left and then dinner was ready, so I couldn't finish it. 8 pages to the end. So annoying. But yeah, I did finish it and it was really good. I really recommend it. If you are at all interested in a good fantasy, YA fantasy, let me just check, it is actually YA. Okay, so it is young adult fiction. So this is a YA. I think it's one of the best YA debut novels that I've read recently, or just in general in a long time. Like, I can't remember the last time I read such a good... My books are all over the place, so I can't even see what ones I've read recently. But I generally think this is one of the best that I've read recently. And that's saying something, because this is bloody good. So the writing is really good. Like, I think it's quite sophisticated for a YA. Not in terms of kind of like vocab or anything like that. It's like there's nothing you're not going to understand in it. But it's just the way it is, like, you can tell she's a good writer. And the story, the world, it was just good. The only thing that I didn't quite get as much as I would have liked to was the romance aspect of it. I didn't quite see it. I just didn't feel it personally. But others might disagree, I don't know. I haven't read any reviews of it yet, obviously, because I've just finished it. But I will be looking at some videos because I have some that I've seen that I now want to watch and see what they think too. But I really enjoyed it. So yeah, if you like folklore and mythology as well, I think this will be really cool because it has a lot to do with that, and the religion and kind of war and past history of the world is very much developed and present in the story. And it definitely much, if you can hear a child screaming, I'm really sorry. And it's very much to do with the story and how the story is built up on it, and I'm excited. It's a duology, so there will be a second one. I don't know when the second one's meant to come out. This has literally just come out, so it's probably going to be a while. Let me have a look on Goodreads. So the next book is called A Palm of Storms and Silence, I think that's how you say it, and it is expected to be published in 2021. That's exciting. Yes. Add to want to read. Doesn't have a cover yet, but I want to read it. So I'm super excited for the next book. Also, it is a beautiful book. Like, I don't think camera does justice to all the photos, all the photos I've seen on Instagram. Anyway, don't do it justice, because when it came in the thing, I was like, it's just so, like, everything is like so shiny. Like this detailing, and even like the fabric of the green. Oh yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book. I would recommend it. I give it 5 stars. So yes, I think I would have loved it even more if I was on board with the romance, but I just didn't feel it for me. So, but maybe the next book it will spice up a bit, because it does look a bit spicy now. Didn't go to plan. So yeah. Oh, and I was saying I was hoping it to be a twist at the end and whether or not it was gonna like get me, and it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. So I kind of guessed some aspects of it. I didn't guess the whole picture, and some bits I was slightly wrong, but yeah, don't know. But it was good. It was good. It wasn't predictable, I don't think. Like, it has tropes in there, obviously, like most books do, and similarities to other books that I've read, but it just kept you guessing. Like, I did not know how it was going to end. Well, apart from the bits that I guessed. But the main storyline, I couldn't see how the ending was going to go. And to be fair, the bits that I kind of guessed and figured out, it was like only 3 pages or 4 pages before it actually was revealed, so I'm not that much of a genius. So yeah, I would really recommend. I felt thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so that is 3 of the books for the Reading Rush Readathon done. We have 5 of the prompts done, so we have a Birthstone one done, we have the one starting with the done, the one reading outside done, we have the one inspired, like the book that inspired a film you've seen done, and what was the first? Oh, and In Another Continent done. So it's on to this one, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little bit reading burnt out. Like, I feel like I'm not in the mood to read at all today, just because I feel like that's all I've done for the last three days, and I've got 4 days now to read this much. So I have like tabbed it, so I need to read 230 pages per day. Normally I would read about 230 pages of a classic per week, just because like I read them slower, like I just do. And yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't think I'm going to do it, but we can give it a go. It was first published in 1871 to 72, and it has an essay in the back by Z.B. Smith, which might be quite interesting. So yeah, I need to read this. I don't know what it's about, no idea, but I do really want to read it. I just don't think I'll finish it today, or definitely won't finish it today. I don't know if I'll finish it this week, but also like I would love to finish it. Say I completed the readathon, but you know, reading is meant to be fun, and if I'm not having fun whilst reading it and getting stressed out by not completing it, then there's just no point. So I'm not going to over stress about it. This is meant to be a fun readathon, so we'll have fun reading it and just try and read as much as I can this week. And I'll push myself obviously to read a little bit more than I normally would, but 900 pages of a classic in 4 days, it's a bit of a tall ask. So yeah, I'm going to start that now. We'll see how it goes, and I'll get back to you probably tomorrow, because I probably wouldn't have read much today. Hello, so it is Monday, the day after the reading rush finish, and yeah, I haven't read since I last spoke to you, which was like Wednesday. I've just hit the biggest reading slump ever, and I just haven't read in 4 days, which is not usual for me. I normally read at least a little bit, but I just, yeah, the reading rush killed me. So I think because I like dedicated so much time at the beginning of the week to reading, like literally I didn't stop reading pretty much all day for the first 3 days of the reading rush, I just couldn't do it anymore, and I didn't want to do it anymore, and yeah, which is such a shame because I had such a good beginning of the week, like apart from Miss Jean Brodie, which I didn't really, I could have left that one. Clap When You Land and A Song of Wraiths were just such good books to read, especially this one, like it's a new favourite, and I was just like, it's so sad that it kind of just went wrong. Like I just didn't have the mental brain power to carry on. So yeah, I'm sorry, this is a really crap ending to the vlog, and I just feel like I've failed the reading rush readathon, but you know, it's like meant to be fun and everything like that, and it's just, I don't know. I think Middlemarch really intimidated me, but now I'm even more determined to read it, just maybe taking it a bit slow. Yeah, I will read it. If anyone else wants to read it and do like a little group thing, that would be good, because that would probably give you more, or give me anyway, more ammunition to keep reading it. Let me know, basically. I did try and read a different book. I tried to read Natalie Haynes' 1,000 Ships, but again I just wasn't in the mental state to read. Like I literally have just done nothing for like 4 days. I don't know, just went downhill. It went downhill. So yeah, and I'm not going to get a chance to read properly again for like a week now either, because I've got loads of things to do. I'm really sorry. This is a very bad ending to the vlog. I wish I'd come back and say, oh, I haven't spoken to you for 4 days because I've read a gazillion books, but no, I haven't read anything. So yeah, but as a little roundup, just a little roundup of what I read Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, A Song of Wraiths by Roseanne A. Brown, and The Primal Christian Brodie by Muriel Spark. And this I'm going to give like a 2.53 stars to. Wasn't my favourite, would rather just watch the film. Clap When You Land, 4.5 stars, 4 stars with this one. It was quite good, and it shocked me because I was anxious about the verse format, but I think it actually really elevated and changed the way you actually feel about the topics that's discussed in it, and like the grief and stuff like that, so you get a much different kind of emotional connection to it. So that was very interesting and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And A Song of Wraiths, which I'm giving 4.5 stars to 5 stars basically, because this was incredible. And I would highly recommend. I can't wait for the next one. It's a duology. Can't wait for the next one. It's going to be a good time. I would recommend everyone read it. If you've read it, let me know what you thought. Because I haven't seen many reviews of it. I've seen it a lot on Instagram and stuff like that, but I actually haven't paid attention to any reviews because I didn't want to like get anything spoiled. But I think it's had a good reception in the general booktube community, so I would highly recommend it. I'm going to look at some videos of them. It was good. It was good. Go for it. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Sorry the ending went, but I hope you had a good reading rush readathon if you did it too, and I hope it was better than mine, although 3 books in a week is still good. Like, you know, give myself some credit. It wasn't like I absolutely failed, just the last half. What can you do? It's over now. But I did really enjoy it, and hopefully next year I'll do better. We'll do better next year. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.